Okay, you beautiful people. Happy Wednesday evening. Big waves to you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Ah, come on, get them double hands going. That'll make you smile on a Wednesday evening. Listen, we've got a super exciting call for you. We're going to record. This will go up live all across my YouTube channel as well as across our social media platform. We have a special guest in the house. And for a lot of you, you just finished his 12-week 18 program where we broke literally thousands of ranks, brought thousands of customers and brand partners to the table because of the 18 program over the 12-week program. We got some exciting news at the end. Stay tuned till the end about what's on the horizon. You know, we always like mixing things up, right? Nobody likes to like the same old, right? So here's the deal. Keep letting us know where you're tuning in from. Keep sending out any last minute reminders to your team because tonight we're going to get to hear from Mr. Todd Falcone. And let me tell you what's so exciting to me. I want to give you a little backstory, okay? And then at the end, as we roll out the exciting news of what's to come, but I got to be quiet. I got to say very little because he actually has a call right after this. And so he took the time to come to us because I'll tell you, when I entered network marketing, I told you I've been in this industry since I was 18 years old, but it was not until I was in my early 30s that I had a reason to actually go into the industry. So when I started prospecting, I started recruiting, like we all have like a number, 1 to 10, of circle of influence or influence, right? And so I'm this high school principal, I'm this football coach, I'm this athletic director, and there was people in my community that if I saw myself as a 5, for instance, on a 1 to 10 scale, if there was somebody I was wanting to talk to about the business that was a 6, a 7, a 8, a 9, or 10, I was like nervous. Put a 1 in it. Come on. Don't tell me I'm the only one on here. Put a 1 in the comment if your stomach gets a little twisted when you think about your influence and then you're out trying to talk to somebody you feel like that has greater influence. It sounds something like this when you try to get me on a three-way call. Brent, I want you on a three-way call. This guy's a big deal. He's done a lot. He makes a lot of money. I don't even think he'll want to do this. Will you do the three-way call? That tells me that you think they have a bigger circle than you, right? They're at a higher number than you are. I felt the same way. And it took me learning what you're going to learn tonight, that once I got past that, my business went through the roof. Guys, this has been a high 6 and 7 figure income, not bragging. I came here broke. I was a broke high school football coach. But because I learned things that you're going to get to learn tonight, this has been a high 6 and 7 figure a year income for me. And today I'm 49 years old. I don't say that to brag. I say that to say, if I can do it, come on now. We all can do it. But it takes like taking our mental game to the next level. And tonight you're going to get to take your mental game to the next level. So grab a pen, grab a piece of paper, take notes. There's going to be nuggets that are shared. And I am happy to introduce to you, first of all, an industry legend, someone that's been in the industry, goodness, going on, I'm going to say 4 decades. But more than that, and I'll never stop saying this, he's a friend. He's passionate about what we do. He's got our back because he's got the industry's back. He's got the profession's back, and he goes to battle for us every day. So many of you never will know that he's out protecting this amazing industry, this amazing profession we have called network marketing. So buckle up tonight. I'm going to turn the call over to Mr. Todd Falcone. Todd, thank you so much for being here. I know you got a call on the hour, and I know we got some special things to share. at the end. So we'll wait till the end to do that. The floor is yours, brother. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Good evening, everybody. It's good to be here. And yeah, this is the subject matter we're going to get into tonight is probably my favorite subject matter. So, uh, look, I've been in network marketing, not quite 40 years, but 36 years, which is pretty close to 40, long time. And, you know, when I started in network marketing, I wanted to win. Just like all of you, you saw it for the very first time at one point and you thought, wow, this is a pretty brilliant concept where you move products to, a distribution network and you have leverage, and which is far different than probably all of us even realize. Most of our lives, we like, okay, hourly salary. If I'm working, I'm getting paid. If I'm not working, I'm not getting paid. And so we find ourselves somehow, some way into network marketing. And look, when I started in this space, and like Brent was saying a second ago, I mean, my warm market was a bunch of surfer dudes that were in Southern California. My two buddies wanted me to paint houses and wash windows with them. I had no desire to do that. And pretty much none of my warm market joined. My warm market was they're just a bunch of young college kids, and I didn't make much headway there. And so I immediately had to start to go into other reaching out methods. The first of which was running ads in the Orange County Register and LA Times back in like 1989, 1990. And I found myself getting into, cold market prospecting and talking to people that I didn't know. And I was deathly afraid of talking to people that were older than me. Because in my mind, I thought, oh my gosh, if you're 40 and I'm 22, you must know more. Like, why would you ever listen to me? Why would you ever follow me? So I had a big, big block there. It wasn't actually until several years later, I had a guy that was, he wanted to loan me, or no, give me his sailboat on collateral to loan him 10 grand for an online dating service right at the beginning of the internet. And he had like white hair. He didn't have salt and pepper. It was just pure white. And I thought to myself, wow, here's a guy like 60 something that should have 5-10 grand, no problem. And he's asking to borrow money from me. And I was like, that's like when I had this, I guess that would be a second epiphany, but I worked leads, purchase business opportunity seeker leads for about 10 years. In fact, I built most of my business that way. And I ultimately got to a point where, and all of you will get to this point if you haven't yet, where you only want to talk to good people. Like, think about the most terrible prospect that you've ever had. And they were negative. They hung up on you. They were not open. They were not interested. They made fun of you, whatever it might have been. And you're like, I don't want to have any more calls like that. Or think about a call like, what if you prospected Brent or myself? Like, you would get off that call going, oh my gosh, I only want to talk to people like that. That's so much more fun. Open, interested. I say I'm going to watch the video. I watch the video. You schedule a follow-up. I'm there for the follow-up. Like, and I thought to myself, what can I do to only talk to really good people, which moved me into this methodology that I'm going to be teaching you guys tonight. If you cornered me and said, Todd, you can only build in one way, you don't have other choices, you can only go this route, what would it be? I would, without hesitation, tell you recruiting professionals. And I have mastered this method. And my objective tonight is to open up your eyes and your ears. And I'm going to do something about 3/4 of the way through this, where I will prove to you beyond a shadow of a doubt that you literally have these prospects underneath your nose and you're not even recognizing them. It's almost as if they're not even there, but they're literally under your nose. And then after that, you're going to have a decision to make, because I'm going to open up your eyes. There's a phrase like, the eyes cannot see the things that they're not yet trained to see. Right. And so I'm going to show you some things tonight. I'm going to get into this. I've got kind of a low tech PowerPoint. It's not super high design. It's pretty much in black and white. I kind of like low tech, high check. I don't know. That's always worked for me. So I'm cool with tech, but this is not a super high tech PowerPoint. So I'm going to go into screen share real quick, and we're going to actually get this going. Let me just go slideshow. Okay. No, I don't want to try that. I just want to go slideshow, play from the beginning. And Brent, if you could just tell me that my slide is showing, all good.
You're good to go. You're good to go.
Okay. So This is a training on recruiting professionals. It's called Insider Secrets to Recruiting Professionals. I will tell you that the way that I discovered this method, because it's like, what made you recruit professionals, Todd? Well, I'd spent 11 years working leads, and I had a bad day of prospecting. It was like, I was making big money. I mean, well, I was making probably 300-400. That's still big money, 300-400 grand a year. I was a full-time networker. And I had one of those days where, like, everybody I talked to, they no showed, they were negative, they could barely carry on a conversation. And I got to the end of the day, and I thought, I was sitting at my desk, and I thought, man, I don't want to deal with this anymore. I just want to talk to good people. And so there was a real estate magazine on my desk, Homes and Land, which I think it's a franchise, and they're in most major cities. And I looked at the magazine, I thought, wow, most of the realtors I know, they're pretty, they're sharp, they're outgoing, they make money on commissions. I'm going to try that. And that was my first move into this method. And I'm not going to go through the whole story, but needless to say, the method worked, and it worked so well that I started to get downline, upline, sideline, all sorts of people asking me, how did you, like, where are you getting all these people? Like, and I had an organization that was a ton of realtors, and ultimately there was a bunch of mortgage people in there as well, because realtors work with mortgage folks. And it was my friend Anthony called me one day, and he said, hey man, you need to teach me this. I'm like, I don't have time to teach you this, man. So I was like, you can listen to me make calls. How's that? So I put him on a 3-way call, and he just listened to me make dials. And he's like, he started prodding me with questions. And I said, look, I've already done enough research to realize that I cannot personally outfish this pond. And so I'm going to put it into a recorded training, which ultimately ended up becoming a training program that I have called Insider Secrets to Recruiting Professionals, which is, the title of today's training. And what I'm going to do for you tonight is I'm going to go through, I just want to make sure my mouse is in the right spot and things are moving. And let me just see here. Okay, here we go. All right. I'm actually going to do this too. I'm going to turn off my camera so that you guys just focus on the slides. I'm still here. You can see my picture. Okay, so here's the deal. And by the way, tonight is totally focused on recruiting brand partners, okay? Yes, you'll get customers in this manner, but the way to the bigger checks is by creating a distribution network of brand partners that are all moving products and finding other brand partners. You can make great money just retailing product, and there are many people that do, but the bigger money is in building a team. So the focus tonight, just so you guys know, is 100% on putting brand partners into the business. So there's lots of ways to recruit. I've tried most of them, probably not all of them, but most of them, everything from going to chamber events and meetups and fairs and leads and 3-foot recruiting and social media. I've tried pretty much everything. And look, there a lot of methods work. Some are easy, some are harder, some are immediate, some take some time. The cool thing about this method, I'm going to share it with you tonight, is it's way faster, it's way easier, and it's far more scalable. And the other thing is, it's totally free. I've never paid to have to like generate leads of professionals, and I'll talk with you guys, and I'll share that with you tonight. So that's another cool thing, because I spent early on in my career, man, I was spending thousands of dollars first on ads, and then I was spending hundreds a month. I was spending, I think, $600 to $1,000 a month every single month. This is back in like 1995 for leads. And I don't know a lot of people that are spending $1,000 a month for any kind of lead generation today, but that's just the way it was back then. So it's funny because people are like, oh, network marketing's so expensive. I mean, man, if I showed you my phone bills from like 1992, 93, the late 80s, when you had to pay for long distance, I had $1,500 phone bills. Now we get like unlimited cell phone for whatever we're getting it for. It's way cheaper than that. But so there's a lot of ways to recruit, but let's get into, for some reason my mouse does not want to move. There we go. Let's see here. All right. So there's 4 big things that you guys are going to learn today. Number 1, why professionals are actually easier to recruit. Number 2, why you don't have to be good, experienced, or somebody who's already highly successful in order to recruit high quality people. Who the best categories of professionals are to prospect for your business and why. Not all categories of professionals are created equal, and we'll get into that. And what to do, what to say exactly to get them to say yes to you. And I have a very specific method on doing that. All right. So Number one, this is secret number one, why pros are easier to recruit. So what's interesting is the path of least resistance is not what most people think. Most people think that, okay, especially when you're new to this business, I get it. You know, when you're new, you're lacking confidence and you don't want to get rejected. And it's probably easier, at least we perceive it to be easier if, you know, my broke friend rejects me versus like this person that I know that's the most well-connected person in town, for example. It's like, well, if that person blows me off, then that would be truly scary. But if my friend does it, okay, no big deal. But it's really actually the opposite. When you go down the socioeconomic chain, you're actually met with more resistance than less resistance. It's like if I go after somebody who hasn't had some forward motion in their career, they're the ones that are like, oh, well, how much is it to get started? You know, why don't you, if it's so good, why don't you pay my way in? Or I don't know, you know, oh, this one, I love this one. You know, why don't you call me after you start making some money? You know, that's what some of our broke buddies might say to us. And, you know, we can always get back to those people, but look, and I'm sure some of you guys, if not all of you, can relate to some of the things I've already shared and we haven't even started. Cause it's like, this is the things that happens. Like, you know, and then the funny thing is you start making money and all your friends want to borrow money, which is, you know, kind of interesting. So it's interesting because successful people become successful because they see an opportunity and they choose to participate. They roll up their sleeves and they get after it. But that doesn't mean that they're closed to opportunity. And I'm going to actually share a personal story with that as we get going here. So, you know, like I said, successful people are successful for a reason. They're action takers. They see opportunity as a vehicle for change and they get after it. They roll up their sleeves. The other thing that I think is important to point out is they've got the money to start and they have a much stronger center of influence. Like if I can say this because my first job was flipping burgers at McDonald's at age 16. If I told you today you only had two choices, you can recruit burger flippers from Jack in the Box or McDonald's. Those were my first two jobs. Now I revealed my first two jobs. Number one was McDonald's. Number two was Jack in the Box. $3.35 an hour. So I'm totally dating myself now. So we all know that like attracts like. So who do you think a 40-year-old real estate professional hangs out with? Are they hanging out with a bunch of punk, pimple-faced kids that are hanging out at, I don't know, that are loitering outside of some store causing problems? No, I mean, the only time a 40-year-old would hang out with a 16-year-old is probably because it's their kid and, you know, they're trying to get them squared away. But how about, and I'm not making fun of this, I'm just using this as an example. How about somebody that's 40 years of age that's, you know, stocking shelves at Walmart? What is that center of influence of that individual in comparison to somebody who's making, let's say, 200-300 grand a year as a real estate professional? It just is what it is. We tend to hang out with people and spend time with people that we are similar to. So when it comes to recruiting professionals, what's cool is you recruit a realtor, a professional salesperson, a mortgage broker, an insurance agent, a financial planner. Those individuals, their center of influence is strong. It's way different than when I was a 22-year-old kid starting the business and all of my friends were just broke college kids. So it's just a different game. So look, network marketing 101, don't prejudge your prospects, right? I think that's hopefully, I mean, that's taught pretty early on, like for anybody starting in network marketing. You know, some will, some won't. You know, your job is just to flip the rock over and see if they're open and interested, but we do it. We're constantly, you know, judging other people. And in my case, I met this guy, Randall Swanson. And what's interesting is Randall called me about a month ago. I haven't talked to him for a couple of years. It was fun to reconnect with him. But I met Randall in a Bible study in Pacific Grove, California at a coffee shop. And he was wearing golf attire. I was wearing golf attire. And we got, you know, you play golf? Yeah, I play golf. You want to play golf? So we started playing golf together. And I was a successful network marketer, so I could play golf. And I was at the time, my wife called herself a golf widow when we were living in Pebble Beach, Pacific Grove, because I played golf like 5 days a week. And Randall played golf all the time because he was super rich. I don't know if any of you guys have ever seen the movie Wall Street. the original one with Michael Douglas, Gordon Gekko, and Sheen, Charlie Sheen. And, the character Gordon Gekko was played by Michael Douglas. Well, Randall married the daughter of Gordon Gekko. Not the Gordon Gekko is a fictional character, but it was modeled after my buddy's wife. And so they had a ton of money. She had a massive trust fund. This guy never had to work. He knew that I was involved in network marketing. He knew I was involved in network marketing. And I thought about Randall, but I thought this is my mind. Well, I mean, Randall goes in and he buys a Porsche, and 2 weeks later he trades it in and loses 30 grand and buys a Mercedes. And then a week later he was just wasting money left and right. I thought, no way, this guy is never going to do it. He's never going to do it. And one day I get a phone call and he says, "Hey, Todd, what's up?" I'm like, "Hey, what's going on?" He goes, "Do you know Everett such and such?" And I go, "Yeah, I know that guy." He's like, "Well, he's on your 6th level. I'm on your 7th. Why didn't you tell me about this?" And I was just literally like, I don't know, because I'm dumb. I mean, I didn't know how to respond to that. And I followed up with, I never thought you would do this. You don't need it. He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "No, I don't need it, but I think I can help people with this." And it's a miracle that the guy ended up in my downline, in my company. He could have ended up somewhere else, but he was on my 6th level in a 7-level pay plan, which means I virtually made $0 off of him. And he could have been a personally sponsored frontline business builder. And that was a big lesson learned for me. I never thought Randall would touch network marketing. And some of you guys, how many people have you prejudged in your life because they drive the nice car, they live in the big house, they own a couple of companies, and you haven't even given them a chance to say yes or to say no to you? And look, this method, as I get into it, I'm going to share a couple stories from some of my students as we get into this. But it works for a lot of people. I mean, this is my buddy, Jeff Morrell. He's actually a realtor. We did a Zoom recently, and this guy does sit downs. So I'm going to show you a few different stories real quick. He literally he prospects realtors in his town. He sits down with them to present the business. That's just how he chooses to do it. And in the Zoom that we did, the guy sponsors 40 to 50% of the people that he sits down with, which is pretty awesome. I mean, that's a pretty high close rate. I'm not going to promise you're going to get 40 to 50%, but that's just the way he chooses to do it. This other guy, I met him at an event. He actually pulled me aside. I was speaking at an event for about 8,000 people. And he said, "Hey, man," or "Hey, mate," because he's from South Africa. He's like, "Hey, can I interview you?" And he threw me on camera and interviewed me because I was one of the speakers at this event. And he's like, "Hey, I got to get you out to South Africa one time." I've actually been to South Africa 3 times now on 3 different speaking tours. First time I went there, took my whole family. I was there for a month. But he took this method that I'm teaching you guys tonight. And I got to update that slide because it's closer to probably 400 people. He's taken the method and he does it all on LinkedIn because he lives in South Africa. So he just uses LinkedIn as the tool that he uses to apply my method. And he's crushing it. I mean, I met him when he was barely making any money, and the guy has made so much money in a market where if you've never been to South Africa, they don't make what we make in the States at all, not even close. But he's absolutely done so well in his network marketing business, and he's done it recruiting professionals. Now, this guy, Jim Tanner, when I met Jim, he was driving a furniture delivery truck. And he originally got a hold of me somehow and started, I have a course called Cold Market Lead Mastery course, and he started using that. When I released Insider Secrets, he bought it and started to go through it. And because he's smart, he didn't try to reinvent the wheel, and he did exactly what I taught in the course. He didn't say, "I want to try it this way instead of that way." And this guy, and I just interviewed him within the last couple months, he's built his entire business, his entire 7-figure business, 100% of it, recruiting professionals. The guy does not drive a furniture delivery truck anymore. And it's so fun to be able to get feedback from people who takes, I do this for a reason because I want to help people win in network marketing. And you guys can learn from my mistakes rather than make your own. And so yeah, it's great to make money as a speaker and all that, but like hearing from a guy like Jim Tanner or Jeff Morrell or a bunch of the other stories that I don't have time to get into is way more satisfying. And one more important thing that you need to take into account, I've kind of broached over this already. All of you need to understand this here and now. People do network marketing for reasons other than I need the money. I think a lot of networkers get into the business and they start taking their business out to people, which is fine, to people who they think really need the business. And I'm not saying don't, but a lot of what I found is a lot of people get locked into, oh, well, I'm going to go after only the people that need the money. People come in for different, Randall came in for a totally different reason. People come in for challenge, for friendships, for relationships, to diversify, to reduce stress in their life. But you've got to let that fact sink in and start thinking a little bit differently about who you're recruiting. All right. So secret number 2 is, again, you don't have to be good, experienced, or successful to recruit high quality people. I want to share a very powerful strategy with you that's called the power of projection, or perception is projection. When you meet somebody for the very first time, have you all heard the phrase, you only have one chance to make a good impression? We've all heard that. So when you meet somebody for the very first time, they're developing an impression of you. And so that very first experience is really important. Like I don't know why I've used this. I just haven't thought about making up another story, but I'll make up this story. Okay. So bear with me. I'll give you an example. So there's a sweet Christian great grandma. She's like 97. She falls. She breaks her hip. She's never sworn in her life. She's barely ever sinned in her life. She's not a drinker. She's lived an incredibly clean life. Well, she falls, breaks her hip, and the hospital gives her pain medication. She's never taken medication, but her hip hurts so bad that she takes like 1/4 of one of these pain pills just because she couldn't handle the pain anymore. And then a friend comes over to the house and says, hey, Granny, we want you to come to this party next door. We'd love to have you. I'll come and pick you up. And so they bring her over to the party, and it's this big, 50th anniversary party or something. And they're doing a celebratory toast. So Granny takes 1 sip of champagne, not even the glass, a tiny sip. And unfortunately, that little pain pill and the little sip of champagne, all of a sudden it gets to her head, and she's like, well, how you doing, ladies and gentlemen? It's so great to be here. I'm Granny, like, ladies and gentlemen. Blah, blah, blah. And now Granny is slobbering all over everybody at the party. And now, if you met Granny for the first time and that was your only impression of her, what would you think? Oh, old lady who can't handle her booze and she's a sloppy drunk. So now that's the reality of who that woman is because of that first exposure. I want you guys to clearly understand what you project upon someone becomes their reality of who you are. When I was broke in network marketing, I projected desperation, fear, beggy, pleady. And I wasn't like literally sitting here, Brent, please join my business. I need you. Like, I'm not going to make rent this month. Please, please, please. But the way I talked, the way I communicated, that's essentially the message I was putting out. So I was sitting in my office one day and I thought, if I was making more money, would I act this way? Okay. Like, for example, if let's say you were making 20 grand a month, pick a number, whatever number works for you. If you were making $20,000 a month right now in Partner Co., would you act the same way that you're acting right now? Some of you would say absolutely. Some of you would be like, no, man, I would be walking a little taller. I'd hold my head a little higher. I would, speak with a little bit more confidence. I would be carrying myself in a different way. Well, the cool thing is you can do it without the check. Because, and here's the thing about, like, the people that know you, they know you. Like the friends that you grew up with. Let's say let's say, for example, nobody on this call would fit to this category, I'm sure, but just use it as an example. This person that I'm referring to, man, they've been a flake their whole life. They partied hard in college. They've been through 82 jobs. They just haven't been like a specimen of success. And now you decided to turn over a new leaf. Like, okay, I've literally turned over a new leaf. I'm reliable. I'm consistent. I'm professional. Do you think your friends are going to see that? Nope. Not yet anyhow, because they know how you've always been. So it's going to be a while before they see the new you. And it could be, honestly, years. But somebody who has never met you before, they don't know whether you're living in a 10 by 10 square foot room or a 10,000 square foot house. That's the beautiful thing. So here, this picture is so funny. This is 205 13th Street in Pacific Grove, California. This was, and where I'm pointing is clearly a garage door, but that garage was actually a room that was, it was a 1-bedroom duplex. And that garage was turned into like basically a bedroom. It had a closet, it had carpet. It wasn't very nice, moldy, single pane windows. In this garage, in this 1-bedroom apartment, that's where I had my first $10,000 residual month, in that garage. Do you think when I called my prospects, I was saying, hey, Brent, hey, I'm living in the garage. Life isn't good. There's a lot of mold on the windows. It would be really nice if you joined my business. No, I thought to myself one day, man, this desperation, beggy, pleady thing ain't working for me. I'm going to act as if I was already successful. And so I just started to carry myself a little bit differently. Understand this, you guys. Actors do it all the time. Take your favorite actor, whoever it is. They play a part and you're watching the movie and it draws you in. You're crying and you're laughing and you're fearful and all of the emotions that we might get in a movie. And I don't know if you've ever felt this. I most certainly have. You're watching a movie and it feels like real life. Like this is real. I mean, you're drawn into the movie. Well, that's make-believe. That's not real. That's a movie or a TV show. And so actors do it all the time. They play a role. Your job here is to play the role of a successful person. And it's literally that simple. No, you don't need to be a professional actor. I've never taken a single acting class. I just decided one day, well, acting and sounding desperate is not serving me. And I didn't even realize that what I was doing. I studied NLP much later in my career, and I realized that this is actually a thing, this power of projection. Because every word that you say, all of your body language, every engagement or interaction with a person, imagine this. It's kind of like when you're meeting a new person for the very first time, it's as if it's everything that you're doing and saying is projected up onto a movie screen, and the person is watching it, and everything that they're seeing is becoming their reality of who you are. What kind of reality about who you are do you want to project upon people that you're meeting for the first time? Again, take your friends a long time to figure it out that you've actually turned over a new leaf. But when it comes to people that you don't know, this is incredibly powerful. So you could literally wake up tomorrow and be Brent Palmer. You could be his rank, his success. I'm not saying we don't lie to people. We don't say, hey, you should join me because I'm making 50 grand a month. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that you can act the way a successful person would act before you actually achieve the success. So look, let's talk about the best categories to target. Okay. The 4 commonalities with network marketers. So this is one of the key reasons this method works so well. So when I started this, look, I've cold called doctors, and doctors are the hardest people to get into this business. First of all, I can't even get my own doctor on the phone. And I actually have a relationship with my doctor. I don't know about you. I mean, unless your doctor's your best buddy, but I can get my dentist on the phone because she was over at the house all the time. She's real good friends with Carla, but I cannot get my doctor on the phone. It is literally impossible. So how do you think you're going to get on the phone with a doctor? I know you're thinking all these products, they're great. We got science and nature, and I wouldn't even bark up that tree. I'm not saying you can't go recruit a doctor, but that doctor better be somebody that you already know well, rather than try to reach out to physicians in your town. So these categories that I'm going to share with you, the number one thing that they do in their daily job or occupation is they sell for a living, they lead, or they're managing or overseeing some kind of team. What do we do in network marketing? We do the same thing. Number 2, they're typically paid on their personal production. I don't typically like to go after professionals that are on a salary. It's in terms of this strategy. I go after commissioned salespeople, like a realtor, for example. If they sell a house, they get paid. If they don't sell a house, they don't get paid. A person that's selling, media advertising. If they sign a contract with a client, then they're going to make a commission. If they don't sign any contracts, then they're not going to make a commission. Number three is they don't mind taking a little risk for long-term rewards. So I don't know if any of you have done real estate as an example, but the first couple of years, you're a starving realtor. My buddy who's makes way into seven figures as a commercial realtor, the first 3 years that he started that career, he was bartending every night just to make ends meet, because it took him a while to, create a book of business. So I think to some extent we're risk takers in network marketing. It's not like big financial risk, but we're doing something different than we probably thought. I promise you, not one person on the Zoom tonight went to college and thought, or when you were a kid, you're going to go, man, when I grow up, I want to be a network marketer. Now, maybe Peyton, the fact that he's grown up in the business, and seen dad super successful, he's probably like, yeah, I want to do what my dad does. That's pretty cool. But that is an anomaly. So you ended up here somehow, some way, and it's a beautiful thing. And number four, these people are typically highly social people. So they gravitate towards careers where they can use their social skills. I would think that a person that is a computer coder, we would probably put that in the category. That's a pretty hardcore profession, but those guys are in the back of a room sucking down Coca-Cola and caffeine all day, and they don't want to talk to anybody. Like if you've coded and you like to talk to people, you're different. Okay. But most computer coders are quite antisocial. All the ones that I've met, they prefer to be alone. And so look, as network marketers, this is a social business. So the categories that I have learned to recruit into, you can see them on your screen: real estate professionals, mortgage brokers, insurance agents, small business owners, people that start their own small business, brick and mortar business, salespeople and account executives, sales managers, directors of marketing, also people who run charities, organizations, or clubs. They happen to be incredibly well connected, and just in general, well-networked people that have an extensive center of influence. Now, let's talk about, what do you say to these people? There is absolute power in asking. We know that in the Bible, it says, ask and ye shall receive, seek and ye shall find, okay? We can take that principle, and I don't know if anybody's married here. I'm assuming probably. But if you're married, you did not spontaneously combust into marriage. Somebody had to pop the question. Typically, it's the man. There may be some women here that propose to their man. That's beautiful. But typically, it's the man getting on his knee and asking the woman to marry him. In my case, I proposed to my wife live on a radio station. That was pretty fun. We could talk about that at a later time. And she said yes, and we're still married 28 years later. But if you don't ask, you don't get, right? So there's power in asking, especially when you learn to ask the right question in the right way to the right audience. It took me about 6 years, because I'm a little slow, to get to this question. Because when I started doing this, I didn't know what to say. I'm literally calling a realtor out of a magazine or off of a website or out of a newspaper and saying, hey, and so I had butterflies in my stomach as I began this journey. But I ultimately came down to this question. John, I got a straight up question for you. Do you at all keep your options open in terms of making any money outside of what you're currently doing as a real estate professional? That's the question. You're actually going to hear that several times. Now, I'm going to do something, and I want to do a quick little, and you'll hear the question a few times. I know some of you guys are scrambling to probably write that question down, but let's do a little check here. Let me see if I can, I'm actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give you, wait, no, hang on a second. Let me see if I can see the chat. Hold on a second. I got to do something here. 1 second. Hold tight. Okay. So there's the chat. So you guys need to agree to play with me for a second. I hope you guys can agree to play with me. I think you will. Okay. So I'm going to ask you 3 questions. Okay. 3 questions. And this is going to prove to you that pretty much 100% of you, and there are, I don't know how many people on here, 339, that there's probably 337 of you that have got these opportunities right underneath your nose, and you're not even taking advantage of it. So here's the first question. You ready? And I need you to answer this in the chat, okay? All right. So the first question is, and don't put the answer until I tell you what answer to put. Do you own a cell phone? I told you this one. It's either type the word phone or type no phone if you don't have a phone. So phone or no phone. So I see phone. I don't even think I'm going to see no phone. I think kids are like born with phones these days. Like we all have phones. So there's going to be 339 phones. Everybody's got a phone.
Somebody has 3, Todd.
Somebody has 3 phones. Oh, that's great. I've only got 1. I have 2. Okay, so not only do you have a phone, but you have more than 1 phone. Now, here's the second question. And I don't want you to answer the question until I tell you the way to answer it, okay? If you think it's remotely possible that in the last 7 days of you living your life, doing whatever it is you do, taking the kids over here, running across town, go to the grocery store, going to Costco, just leaving your house and doing stuff, if it is remotely possible that you've driven by any for sale sign for any piece of real estate, type the letters RE in there. If you think it's not possible, type in no RE. And I see 100% REs. And the only people there's 1 no RE. That's because you probably didn't leave your house in the last week, and that's cool too. It's impossible for you to leave your home and not see a for sale sign. Okay. No RE. So I got 2 people that haven't left their house in the last week, which is totally fine. Or you live so far out in the country that it's like 50 miles before you see the next house. Okay. All right. So now we know you all have a phone. We know that you have very likely driven by a for sale sign. Now, this last question is this. Only put yes in if you actually called the realtor and asked them to take a look at Partner Co. Otherwise, type no. Pretty much no's. Okay, so let's see. I think I saw 2 yeses. Pretty much 100%. We'll call it at 98% no's. And I want you guys to see the responses too. So there's a few of you, very few, that, no, but after this call, Jessica says, absolutely. So now you've got a decision to make, right? So very few. Okay, Tom Booth is going to say yes, because you know what? Tom's been plugged into me forever, and he's very familiar with the training that I'm going into, okay? So let me also take this one step further. See, the thing is, you're not calling these people because you're not even seeing it as an opportunity. Tomorrow, you're going to have a different choice to make because you're going to see a real estate sign and you're going to go, oh my gosh, this crazy guy, Todd Falcone, now I got to do Now you're going to, because you wouldn't even see the real estate sign unless you were either trained to do this or you're looking for a home at that time in that neighborhood that fit the kind of home you might be looking for. But now I'm going to share another story with you, okay? So here's a big story and an even deeper lesson for all of you on this training. So several years ago, I was coming back from a national conference for the network marketing company that I was with at the time before I went into full-time training. I'd been gone from the house for like 5 days. So guess what? My refrigerator is empty. I need to go get some new produce and some meat. And my mailbox was full. So I leave my house. I'm driving out of my neighborhood, and the first thing I see is a for sale sign. This is what I do. Now, I want you to also understand this. I'm on an errand running session. This isn't Todd sitting at his desk prospecting. I'm literally on an errand running session. I see a for sale sign for Coldwell Banker. I literally pull over. Now, and to this day, I keep a yellow legal pad and a pen wedged between my center console and my seat in my vehicle for doing just this, for taking notes. And isn't it interesting how you'll find your car will do this. You will literally be able to keep a little legal yellow pad and a pen, and it fits perfectly between your seat and your center console. And the cool thing is you'll never drop your phone in there anymore because it'll get blocked. I don't know how many of you ever done that. You lost your phone and you got to wedge it out of there. Oh, it's like you got to pull over, get out into the back door, grab it. It'll never happen again when you put that legal yellow pad in there. So this is what I did. I pull over. I don't stop and go into the house. I write the realtor's name and phone number down. Ring, ring. Good afternoon. This is Jan. And they're all cell phones. Hi, Jan. This is Todd Falcone. She's like, great. What can I do for you? I said, Jan, I was just driving by your listing here in Beaver Lake Estates. She's like, oh, fantastic. Are you interested in the home? I said, Jan, I actually live right down the street. It's a beautiful home. I've seen some of your listings. I'm an entrepreneur. I love working with successful real estate professionals. And I have a very simple, straight up question for you, Jan. And that is, do you at all keep your options open in terms of making any money outside of what you're currently doing as a real estate professional? And she said, what? In this case, she said, yes. What would you do at that point? You would then get her information about Partner Co. So I'm literally driving while this call is happening. I pull up to my local little strip center where my grocery store is. There's a coffee shop there and my mailbox place. It's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so I'm dragging a little bit. I run in and I go get myself a ice green tea. Now, while I'm waiting for my ice green tea, which didn't take very long, well, guess what I see? I see a cork board. What's up on the cork board? Cork. Well, there's more than cork, and you'll see these in laundromats and coffee shops and other stuff. And I, there's listings for sale for this. People put their business cards up there. And I know what I'm looking for, so I scan it real quick, and I'm like, oh, there's a realtor. Oh, there's a personal fitness trainer. Oh, there's a mortgage person. So I take the 3 business cards, I shove them in my pocket. I go right next door. I grab my mail, which is literally next door to the coffee shop. I then go and I grab a grocery cart and I put my mail where my kid would be sitting, but I don't have my kid with me. You guys know where the little seat is in the grocery cart? I start grocery shopping and I'm, grabbing my stuff. You don't ever want to go to the grocery store with me because I'm kind of psycho. I go really fast. And all of a sudden I realize there's a little miniature man following me around. There's a tiny little man following me around the grocery store. And it's starting to irritate me a little bit. So, well, it's not actually a miniature man, but what it is, it's an ad just like this on my shopping cart. And this isn't the actual ad, but it was a State Farm insurance ad. I'm in the grocery store on an errand running session. I call the guy, good afternoon, this is State Farm. I'm like, hey, can I speak with Greg, please? She transfers me to Greg. This is Greg. I said, hey, Greg, Todd Falcone, how's it going? He said, good, what can I do for you? I said, hey, man, I'm looking at your smiling face between my tomatoes and my eggs. He's like, what? I said, I'm looking at your smiling face wedged between my eggs and my tomatoes because I don't want to put my eggs and my tomatoes really going to get smashed. He's like, oh, you're seeing my ad. I said, look, I'm literally in QFC right now. I saw your ad. If you're running this ad, you're clearly looking to grow your State Farm business. I'm an entrepreneur. I love working with professional people. And I just have a simple, straight up question for you. And that is, do you at all keep your options open in terms of making money outside of what you're currently doing with State Farm? He said, well, as a matter of fact, Todd, I do. I said, great. I said, I can see your office is right around the corner from my house. Is it possible we get together on Monday or Tuesday of next week? I don't remember if it was Monday or Tuesday that we met, but I went over, I sat down one-on-one with this guy, presented my business. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that he became a superstar. He did sign up. He was a super loyal product user, referred some people to me, but in that case, he didn't turn into some giant business builder. So let's back up for a second. Now, all right, I had that meeting on whatever, Monday or Tuesday. Now I finished my grocery shopping. I get in my car. Now I'm driving home. What's in my pocket? The personal fitness trainer, the mortgage person, the realtor. On the drive home, I called all 3 of those. The realtor said yes. The mortgage person said yes. And interestingly enough, the personal fitness trainer, she said no to me. Oh my gosh, I should quit. So look, I pull up in my driveway on an errand running session. I called the realtor on the way in. That's 1 yes. I called Greg, the State Farm insurance guy. That was another yes. I called the other 3 and I got 2 out of those 3. So I'm on an errand running session and 4 out of the 5 people said yes to me, which is insane. I'm not even talking about sitting down at the desk and going, okay, I'm going to go to realtor.com or I'm going to go to this website and find these people. And so my objective tonight is simply to open your eyes. Okay. That's all I can do. I can open your eyes, and now you are going to have a choice to make. The next time you see a cork board, the next time you see a real estate sign, the next time you're at your shopping center, and almost every grocery cart's got an ad on it. Most of the time it's a mortgage person, a realtor, financial planner, something like that. You're going to have to decide for yourself. Am I going to make the call or not? And I get it. You're not going to understand this full method in a 50-minute session. So what I'm going to show you guys real quick is I have an entire home study course called the Insider Secrets to Recruiting Professionals. This is literally my #1 selling training program of all time. That and Little Black Book of Scripts, they tend to compete with one another. But I want you to see what this is real quick. And as Brent said, there's a surprise for you guys. The surprise is actually a pretty big one, and I think you guys will appreciate it. So I'm just going to show you real quick. I'm not going to go through all of this stuff, but This is a full-blown home study course that teaches you how to recruit professionals online, offline, in the US, out of the US, wherever you're at. And you can read what's on the slide, what to say it, how to get a yes, where to find them, how to do what's called a reframe question, where you take a maybe or an it depends and you turn it into yes. So that's something that you're going to get when I show you what I'm going to give you here in a second. And you're going to see the prices. But guess what? You're not going to pay those prices because Brent and I worked out a special deal for you. So the value on that course by itself is $997. Am I going to charge you $997? No, you're going to get it. You're going to get it significantly less than that. I also include a resource guide. So it's a downloadable PDF that shows you a lot more depth on personalities to look for in a business partner, multiple scripts for recruiting professionals, how to do these reframes, what to say on a voicemail, how to get referrals from professionals, best places to find them, best categories to target. I go through a little bit more detail on that. The value on that add-on, and this was not originally part of the first time I produced this. I did a reproduction of this in the studio a couple years ago. The value on that's $97. Then I have something called the Pain Points and Hot Buttons Checklist. That's another PDF that comes with it. Well, what this does is it shows you the good things and the bad things about these different careers. Like, okay, real estate professional. Yeah, they make commissions. They don't have to have a boss. They work when they want. They play when they want, but they have to do open houses on Saturdays and Sundays when they'd rather be going to their kids' football game. And if they sell a house, they make money. And if they don't sell a house, they don't make money. And so if you know what the good things are and what the not so good things are, then it makes you more powerful when you do the reach out, whether you're doing it, through a message or through a phone call. And it just makes getting yeses way more easy. I don't know if that's proper English. Somebody will probably correct me. That's fine. The value on that as an add-on is $297. The search training, I show you exactly where to find them locally, regionally, nationally, internationally. You will never pay for a prospect. These are not, okay, I'm going to go buy a list of professionals. I've never paid a dime for anybody that I've ever located. And they are easy to find, especially when you go through the search training. There's a value on that. So the total value on this is like $1,600, right? Well, when I sell this, like this slide deck is actually a webinar slide deck that I run on a regular basis. This would be the normal cost for you guys, would be $297 if I were to discount it. But here's the cool thing is I'm going to give it to you guys for free. And I will tell you, I have never given it as a bonus. I've never given it out for free. The price you see at $297 is literally the lowest price anybody has ever paid for the Insider Secrets to Recruiting Professionals course. I'm gonna one-up you on that as well. I'm also going to include me doing live dials to professionals. This is literally 6 hours of recorded phone calls. To me, this is probably the most valuable part of this because it's not made up calls. These are actual real calls to real professionals, and you can mirror what I do. You can model what I do. You can hear the tone. And by the way, just so you know, I did not cherry pick them. So, oh my gosh, Todd only gets yeses. And I think this one recording's on there, but I got to say this, I got to share this with you. I had this woman that I called, and I'll put it back up on the page so you see the total value. You guys are going to get it free when you register for my A team. I called this woman. I'm looking at her website. I won't cuss, but she cussed at me. She said, I said, yeah, I can't remember her first name. Julie, Todd Falcone, I'm giving you a call. I was just on your website with Remax. She's like, you are so full of, you know what? And I was just like, what? I mean, she totally threw me back. I was like, no, I'm not. She goes, yeah, you are. I'm like, no, Julie, I'm actually looking at you right now doing the coolest video walkthrough of 123 Beachfront Court. And I've never seen a realtor do that before in my life. It's the coolest way to show a house I've ever seen. She's like, oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, no, you're not full of, you know what? And I think that recording's in there, but you're able to hear what I do when I get a no, what I do when I get a yes, what I do when I get a maybe or it depends. And it's just, the theory is beautiful, but when you see something in real action, it's even more powerful. So I didn't change the slide deck other than I changed the $297 and put free, and I changed the link at the bottom. So you guys have been hearing about A-Team. You're going to be coming out of PXP on fire. You're going to be able to dig through all of this course over the next few weeks leading into PXP, and we're going to run this other A team coming out of PXP that starts on September 15th. So the link is in front of you, toddfalcone.com/partner code -A team. I think it's Andrea. I knew you're already on it. So Andrea already put it inside of the chat. And this, to me, I'm super excited to be able to offer this to you guys. Let me turn my camera back on, because I just know the results that people who listen to this and apply it get. This is a recruiting training. This is not, I'm not saying you're not going to make product sales. You most certainly will make product sales and get customers, but it's really more focused on, let me go find some builders. Let me go find somebody who's going to be a top rank in this company. And I can tell you that once you go up, you will never go down the socioeconomic chain. You'll find it way more fun, way more rewarding. And some of you, Denise asked, this is what we got the other day. Yeah, if you already registered for this next A team that starts September 15th, you already have access to it. Okay, I'm also going to say this. There were several of you that were on the site this last week when we announced it, that it spun because everybody hit the site at the same time. And a lot of people were worried. Because we limited this to the first 250 people who registered would get this course. We hit 250 people like in the first hour. And then there were people like, did I qualify? Did I get it? I talked to my assistant over the weekend, and I'm like, just don't put a lid on it for now. I'll tell you when to put a lid on it again. So if you want access to this course for free, if you register, and by the way, here's the deal. It's only $99 for the entire 12-week program. That in and of itself, you're going to see me promoting it very soon, my Open A team, and all those people that are doing it are going to pay $297 for it. So you're getting into A team for $99 for 12 weeks. It's almost like maybe I should just pay the $99 so I can get this thing for free, because you're never going to get it free again. You'll never see me offer this course for free. So Brent, I appreciate you. You guys, hopefully I open your eyes. You're going to have a decision to make tomorrow when you see that real estate sign. But if you really want to know how to do this stuff, get registered for A team. You'll get instant access to the course, and you can just dig through that, because we still have a few more weeks before you go into PXP and then coming out of it. So back to you, my brother.
Guys, stay on for just a minute, okay? Todd has another call to jump to. Todd, this information, just the value of it. Thanks for putting this on. Guys, don't wait to register. Go ahead, lock it down. Let's go pro together right here with Todd. 12 weeks. We've already ran one 12-week program. I mean, I can't tell you how many brand partners, customers hit the system, as well as taking value for the rest of your career here. Todd, thank you, my friend. Thank you for this. Thank you for the value you bring to Partner Co. And here's what I want to tell all of you as you end tonight. You got to understand the time you're in with Partner Co. I want to have a serious conversation with you right now. I was talking to a networker today, somebody that's been in the industry 25 years. He's been searching for a home. He can't ever find a home that suits him. And I'm sitting here pleading, and I'm like, listen, I'm going to make sure I don't say his name. We have a home. Sometimes I'm nice, and sometimes I get mistake my kindness for weakness. So sometimes I have to just say, stop, listen. We did almost $400 million last year. We launched this company in February of 2023. We all sit at the front of this company. Two things are going to happen. One day we're going to look up and this company is going to be over $1 billion and growing fastly around the world, or it's not. It's only two things it can be. You're already here. Me and you are already here. I was telling this gentleman, I said, here's what I can promise you with the two owners. If there's ever been a company that is creating the financial means to actually create a company that moves on into time, 20, 30, 40, 50 years down the road, we got that company. We've got a great portfolio of products, but we're innovating new products. So stay the game, stay the course. Don't say, oh, they don't have my product, so I'm out. It's going to be sad when this person finds their product here. because we innovated it. Here's what I'm trying to tell you. We've all got to get skills. We have an amazing system of growth that creates for the new person leads, passive leads. And then we've got to actively work those leads. We've got to actively get a customer, love on that customer, convert them to a brand partner, teach them how to run the system. If we're not doing that, we're letting so much pass us by. But then we also have to go pro in the active recruiting game. So why is Todd here? Yeah, he's a friend of mine. Yes, he's giving you a smoking $97 deal for a 12-week course and enough extras that will last you a lifetime in this industry if you really dive in. But I want to tell you from my point of view, someone that this has been a full-time career since I was in my early 30s. Someone that's been through a lot of ups and downs, but has transitioned with one company through the ups and downs, and we still have that brand. Thank the good Lord here today. I know what we got our hands on. Why am I putting these courses on with Todd? Because I want each and every one of you to go there. I don't care what your background is. I don't care how old you are. I don't care how young you are. I tell that to my son all the time. He said, Dad, it's tough as a 23-year-old. I said, son, but here's the thing. Build your network now. Those people are going to get married. Those people are going to have kids. Those people are going to realize that the job's not paying them enough, and you've built this network. Son, sow the seeds. There will be a harvest one day. And what we're learning in this 12-week course that you all have, you all can promote it in your team. I don't make a dime from that. I pay out more money than you do in this. But it's my way. I want to give back to people that want to be a part of it, to go, you know what? I have to keep growing at this business. Okay? And I hear so many times like, oh, I don't know if I want to do that. We all have to continue to learn, but we have our hands on a gold mine with this company. And if we'll all just drop our egos, drop our past, all the trophies, kick them under the bed and go, you know what? I'm going to be like this eager student to learn, this eager student to sit there and take notes and go apply the notes, go call the for sale, go put his task to work. You, my friend, are going to sit at the top of this company and change your life and a lot of other people's lives. How do I know that? Because I've lived it before. I came here broke, but I came here and I locked in, and I've never unlocked. I've never moved away from the fire. I'm not bragging on me. I'm just telling you a secret. I kept the drama out, and I kept feeding myself the positivity. It's easy to get sucked up in life and all the crap. But if we stay together, cross line, sideline, we take care of each other, we take care of this company, guys, we're going to all see our lives changed here in a big, big way, and we're going to help so many other people. So I would highly encourage you to take this course. We'll come out of PXP. We're on fire. If you put a 1 in the comment, if you're going to Dallas, please don't miss Dallas. Find a way to get there. I can't tell you. I'm still like I'm here. I've been here in Utah for like 2 weeks. What we got coming is unbelievable. Guys, I see it. I sit with the owners. I know what we got our hands on. And there will be people that will miss it. And that's what I don't want. If it gets missed, it's not because I didn't stand on the line, on Zooms, in front of people going, don't miss this. Run hard for this. We've got something really special here with this company, with the owners that are running this company, with their humbleness and their passion. Guys, we're just getting started. We are just getting started. So, if you're in the course already in the 12-week course, give me a 1 in the comments. We'll be setting up a Facebook group. We're obviously going to lock everybody in. And then what I would highly recommend you do is you're going to get this free stuff Leverage that between now and PXP. Go learn how to recruit professionals. Go take that course by yourself with your team and go put it into action. I hope you can feel my heart. I love each and every one of you. I love this company to the core. But what I really love is seeing you succeed, seeing you excel. I don't care whose team you're on. I love seeing people win in this amazing profession. So I'm excited and I'm just honored to be partnered with you guys in this mission to take this company around the world. Thank you for being here tonight. God bless you. I love each and every one of you. Have a great Wednesday. See you guys.
Thank you,
Brad.
Thank you very much,
you.
Brad.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Good night, everybody.
Guys,
Y'all
grateful for
Thank
you.
you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Good night.
you.
Thank you.
So exciting.
Thank
so
you.
much.
Have a great day, guys.
I appreciate it.
Love you guys.